everyone, and welcome back to another installment of the Silver Nugget series. Today, we have very dashing Derek Yazon. He is an associate broker with Remax Capital, and we're going to have a bit of a chat about building client relationships. So, Derek, hello.
Hello.
Hello, and yeah, nice to see you again. It's been a while, and thank you for being with us today. And I'm sure we're gonna learn a lot. Okay, so Derek, can you tell us a little bit about what it is you do, what your role is about?
Okay. Well, basically, I started in real estate in 2020, and that's obviously how we met, Ren, diba? And then
Yes.
I've been doing that full time ever since with a company called Remax Capital. We're one of the largest brokerages in the Philippines, and it's actually an international group now. So I'm basically like a freelance broker operating under Remax Capital, and I help my clients for everyone's info, Via and I met a couple of years ago or last week. Ano ba yun?
Yeah, it's hard to tell. It feels like we've known each other longer.
Oh, nga, no? But so I was able to help with some real estate.
Yeah, I think it was it only last year?
Last year, it was like November, around October, November, parang ganun, no?
No, we had been, I think it started earlier on, like April.
Oh, well, okay. So we met a lot, a few months before that, but we had some transactions towards the end of last year. No? So basically, that's what I try to help my network, the people I meet through friends or my former colleagues, whenever they have real estate concerns or requirements.
No, and it was really a godsend, actually, that connection. It was really but it was a direct answer from the universe. So we will always be grateful. We will always be grateful to you.
Thank you, and syempre, that's also one of the reasons why I fell in love with this real estate. I mean, like I said, I'm new to real estate now, so just a couple of years, and before this, I was in corporate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so but in this job, I feel I really get to help people, such as yourself, and that's it's become one of the biggest whys of why I continue to do this job.
Yeah, that's really great to have that why very clear in your mind, and to be like your guiding compass for why you get up in the morning. I'm imagining. So
yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit, Derek, about how your selling strategy had to change during what we all experienced collectively, the pandemic, what we're still experiencing?
I mean, it definitely was an interesting time for me to have a changing career, diba? Parang bagong pasok na ng pandemic and everything was seemed gloomy at some point now. But well, first and foremost, we all do sales to one extent. So whether you're selling an idea to someone or a product, we all, whenever we need to convince anyone of anything, that's pretty much sales.
Yeah.
And I position myself as a solutions provider for my clients, right? And that has always been the case, naman. No? So when it comes to, I mean, obviously, pandemic, there was so much uncertainty for everyone, and I'm sure your audience can relate, and I'm sure you can relate. I can relate for sure.
Yeah.
And whenever I meet someone new, whether it's a referral or someone I know, first thing I just try to determine what they need, whether they're investing or they need help raising funds, and they have real estate assets to try to liquidate.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all about the motivation of the sellers. Obviously, a lot of people during these uncertain times needed to raise funds. And once we were both on the same page, that allows me to determine how I can help you. And syempre, being part of Remax Capital, we're a group of about 60 very professional brokers and real estate salespersons. So we do collate a lot of information from our past transactions, and as a real estate broker, that is something I can really share. I mean, but that's the biggest help I can do for my clients, is to let them know how much their properties are really worth.
Right.
Because it's not a function of how much we advertise. There are obviously a lot of sales platforms,
Mm-hmm.
and you check prices. Yeah, that's a good starting point, but nothing stops anyone from posting prices, that might not be reasonable. So since we have information like how much properties really sell for, that's something I share with my clients to help you liquidate your properties. So if you're in a rush, if you really need to raise funds, then that's syempre, with so many properties for sale during these times, it becomes a price competition. I mean, there were so many properties for sale, and a lot of people were dropping prices just to get inquiries, right?
Right.
And so to recap, basically, my job is to understand the motivations of my sellers and educate them, like tell them what's really out there, and then
Correct.
how I can help you achieve your goals.
Right. But
Especially
let's try to be a little bit more specific to pandemic times. I want to refer a little bit to a previous video where we talk about the 3 R's of business etiquette, and those are recognition, respect, and response. So, can you be a little bit specific to how these 3 R's perhaps went into play for you personally as you tried to help the sales cycle move along during the pandemic? Because I want people to understand it was really a much more challenging time.
Definitely. Although while there are like many success stories, but there's that's probably like a small portion of the challenges people went through now. So you mentioned about recognition, respect.
recognition, respect, and response.
Well, as far as respect goes, we always need to show respect for our clients and for ourselves. For me, it's all about authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
I meant that I position myself, or I am a solutions provider. I'm not just a product sale. I'm not just a product. I'm not a product seller. I'm there to understand the needs of my customers, my clients, and help them find a solution for that. So, because me personally, in my past life, it's the people were the ones approaching me to sell things, and I would always find it annoying when it feels like someone is hard selling to me. Diba?
Yes.
So
you can tell right away.
Yeah, I mean, being a solutions provider isn't always the fastest thing if your goal is only to raise to make income, right? But I'm here for the long term.
Yeah,
and that's how I show respect to my clients. Response, I'm not quite sure what you mean by that, but definitely integrity is super important to money. If I say I'm going to do something, if I say I'm going to call you tomorrow, I do my best and make sure that I actually do it. If I tell you I'm going to do this, or if I
and I can attest to that. Thanks. You have always been in the short span of time that we worked together. I never felt that you weren't out for anything but our best interest as your client.
Yeah, because like if I may share a bit about our experience, you obviously had your goals now, and sometimes I would have to give you information that because every seller naman wants to maximize their earnings, right? Mm-hmm. So we want property for a certain value, but the reality is if prices are closing 20%, 30% down, I have to just really tell you up front. Right. And sometimes no one really wants to. It's a tough pill to swallow,
very much so. Yeah, it's like, oh no, is that where we're going? Is this is this what we have to accept?
Obviously I had to tell you that if you really want to sell, at the closing prices talaga in that area.
Yeah.
You can. I remember I would tell you, we can market it at whatever price you want naman talaga. I would strongly consider you compete against these known closing prices, and you're welcome naman to check with your friends or other people in the area what if my information is true.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to think that's the value I add to my clients and that to gain their trust. Because parang I don't want to be the kind of salesperson. Oh, yeah. Kunyari, let's say example na lang kunyari 10 million tapos via just sell it na lang for 5M. Kakagat yan, diba?
Yeah.
I don't want because syempre, there are multiple styles to brokering naman, but we just have our fixed we have our broker's fees that I don't work on a markup basis, I work on whatever percentage we agree on the contract selling price.
Right.
So high number, low number, I get the same percentage.
Right.
And I feel that's how I gain my clients' trust.
Mm-hmm.
So ano pa ba yung iba? So that's how I believe I give my respect and my response.
And recognition is the other R.
Yeah. Well. Can you tell me a little bit more by what you mean by recognition? Like.
It's about giving credit where credit is due and making sure. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, definitely. I mean, we most of the time, for anyone buying and selling real estate, you're going to have two brokers involved, one representing the seller, one representing the buyer. Sometimes it's just one. Of course, great for the broker because wala siyang kahate and it simplifies communications. But more often than not, you do have a partner. So I always make it a point to recognize my. I mean, these people I work with become. I work with them in the hopes of becoming long-term partners, to have a long-term partnership.
Right. Yeah, you're in there for the long haul.
Yeah, and the recognition for people, give credit where credit is due. Well, obviously, the market moves, the market evolves. So new information, like you remember, biglang nagtaasan yung mga zonal values that year.
Yes, it was very stressful.
Yeah, I mean, and then you remember, because real estate is part of the reason why I really love being in real estate is it's very mentally stimulating. I learned something. I've never actually had a super simple transaction where, parang I get a listing and then I sell it next week and it's paid in cash and then transfer happens perfectly.
Yeah.
I would experience that, but I don't think that ever really happens. And then like in our context, there was that issue of zonal values going up all of a sudden, which will affect your proceeds. So I have to be able to recognize these kinds of threats and, update my clients as soon as I can. And obviously, I'm always learning, and we can go on and on about technical things, which might bore your audience. But you remember how I kept on bugging you? Via, you're sure na you haven't you're not engaged in real estate business kasi magiging vatable yung transaction.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, I do. I was like,
I think you were because I must have mentioned that 10 times.
No, you were just covering all the bases. I knew where you were coming from.
Yeah, because imagine if all of a sudden, like, in your past career, biglang you were buying your company or you were buying and selling real estate, biglang all of a sudden you can lose 12% of your proceeds.
Yeah.
So I hope that answers what you mean by recognition. Just feel free to elaborate if you were driving at a different angle.
Oh, no. No, it's really what your experience is all about that we wanna share and learn from. So I wanna move to the next question, Derek, if I may. What things do you stay consistent at to gain and maintain your clients' trust?
Well, I think we've covered some of the major points. It's really I want to be authentic and that I share and.
How do you do that? For some people that may not be so clear as what it means to be authentic. We did do a video about it and I can link it down below, but I would like to know your take on it.
Well, basically, all of us human beings, you'll be able to read people to a certain extent, diba? And like, if I was just trying to make a quick buck and overlooking your goals, you will feel it somehow. Parang, why is Derek like rushing me to sell at this price when it's so low? That's an example, right?
Yeah.
So I do try to make a conscious effort to ask myself, am I trying to push because I need to close a deal, or am I really helping my client? So
you're very self-reflective.
Oh, super. Self-reflective means to the point that maybe I'm in my past life I was known to be an overthinker.
When you say in your past life, people might think that you used to be a preacher or Please qualify what you mean by your past life.
Well, basically, I was running a pharmaceutical company, so I have to make it a point to cover all angles, palagi, and to the point I think I did it a little bit too much. There's this analysis paralysis issue,
which we all feel.
I mean, most people do. It actually takes a lot of skill and effort to be able to stop that. It just word. No, so the question was, how do you stay consistent and maintain your clients' trust?
Yeah, so the first thing you said was authenticity. And you're,
like I always remind myself I'm a solutions provider. So it means to me that whether I'm going to close a deal this month or next month or a few months from now, that should not be my. We all do need that, but it should not be the thing that drives me. So
not your end all and be all.
Because like when I define my why or my mission, it's my ability, or it's me being able to help my clients.
Yeah.
Right. That's the most fulfilling part because, when I started Naman, I was very new, didn't really know as much as I thought I did. And I had to wait for my first transaction. So it was a struggle those months and there weren't any transactions. So I imagine how, right? So, but what helps me is that, am I really able to help the people I'm interacting with?
Right. Okay. So taking from that seems to be a very strong driver for you to stay motivated, which was actually my next question. Where do you think this drive comes from to want to help people?
Like in my career, because I climbed the ranks relatively quickly, and I had a lot of achievements before, but I always kind of felt something was missing. Parang there was always something kulang.
Yeah.
And, I was able to help shareholders. I was able to help customers, but it's different when the actions I take really impact the person in front of me and I see it. But then I imagine the seller really needs the cash, example, and you're able to close that deal for them. And find able to use those proceeds to pay off debts or salaries or whatever the reason. And that for me really takes the cake.
Yeah.
Diba?
And that's really inspiring to hear, because not a lot of people in the selling industry have the same mindset, to be honest.
Yeah, even my former chairman and my group CEO before, they would always try to drive. I couldn't get it during those. I did understand it in theory, but it didn't really sink in because I was always very numbers driven.
Right.
Running a multinational, it's like we all have targets and things like that.
Yeah.
I guess my targets are my own targets. It's not like imposed upon me. So I have this freedom to really say that I'm doing this because I want to help my clients or my friends, former colleagues, etc.
Right.
So what my former leaders were trying to impart on me was that you have to be able to do the right things and not worry so numbers alone. Because when you do the things, the results follow. I understood that in theory, but I only really felt that authentically and sincerely in my first challenging year of real estate.
Right. So that is really nice that you led with that, because my final question is, what was the biggest lesson that this career and this role has taught you so far?
Well, definitely, I believe this rekindled my faith in God.
Yeah.
So I've always had that faith, but more so because it made me realize my whole career, every time I had big wins and all that, maybe back in the day, there was a little bit of pride and ego, or a bigger portion of that back then was pride and ego. Yeah, sure, I'd say thank God and all, but it's only now that I realize that all those achievements, I did the work for sure, I worked hard and all that, but I realized that they were really all just blessings and it didn't really just come from me. So that said, humility is certainly.
I was gonna say.
It will sound weird if I say I'm humble, but definitely this experience has humbled me. That's for sure.
No, I know what you're trying to get at. You're not claiming in any way that you suddenly had a epiphany and you're now this enlightened one. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think that's what you were trying to say.
I still have my motivation. There are these things I really want, but I just know that because sometimes I do everything. Well, I'm told that we did everything as perfectly as we could, and yet the deal didn't go our way. That's how I know that everything I achieved in the past and going forward is really a blessing. And syempre, you do your part. You can't expect to have achievements when you didn't do anything. And just unless you're that 1 in 100 million who wins the lottery or something.
Right. And it's nice because you have a very clear purpose. And I think without that, it's very difficult to continue confronting very stressful and volatile situations such as the real estate world. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I really enjoy it because obviously I get to help my clients, and then it's really it's a continuous learning process, because like in my past jobs I've been bored so many times. That's probably what triggers me to move to something else.
Yeah.
Definitely never a boring day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the fact that so many people I'm an extrovert, if that's not obvious.
No.
I really get to meet all kinds of people. Obviously, I deal with friends, and then referrals from friends, and then sometimes I would find names and just give them a call. Cold calling is not really fun for everyone. But one thing that helped change my mindset about these cold calling is that I'm not trying to sell something. I'm trying to see if the person I'm calling needs assistance.
Right.
And the question is, am I able to help them with their needs? Diba?
Mm-hmm.
So then it just means that they didn't have a need.
Yes. Well, Derek, what would you tell a person that was interested in probably trying out real estate for themselves?
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I'm certainly recruiting people all the time also, like to be part of our growing team. And it's all I can tell you is that real estate, the income potential is always going to be there. It's like there are many brokers who are doing so well. I won't say na lang the numbers. Baka,
yeah. You can tell the people that you have recruited.
Yeah, the potential is definitely there. I mean, if you want to talk about in my case, like I love being able to help people.
Yeah.
And there are other things like if you want to talk about more shallow factors, you have your own time. You don't really have a boss.
I don't think that's shallow. I'm a parent.
Fair enough. Maybe it's not. Real estate is not for everyone. But if you're someone who, if it resonates with you, then give it a shot.
Okay. And how do they reach you if they need to acquire or dispose of some property?
Sure. Maybe we can flash like a contact card, but I can be reached on WhatsApp, Viber, Facebook Messenger.
Yeah, I'll link all the details, but I just wanted them to hear it from you.
Yeah, social media presence, man. I mean, I could do it more actually, but I've been really more 1:1. Like I just call people or people call me. Sure.
So Derek, I wanna give you a big thank you for taking this time, for sharing your knowledge with us and all the anecdotes. Super appreciate it. It's really something for us to have this Silver Nuggets section, because although we are in the soft skill arena, we want to shine the light also on different people in their areas of expertise. So thanks for helping us do that today.
Honored to be here, and as always, if you need any real estate assistance.
Of course, that goes without saying. May we be super successful so that we can have a lot of real estate to throw your way.
Good luck with your channel. It's been interesting. I've been watching a few of your shows also, so I hope it really blows up and you're able to reach many, many more people with your wisdom.
Thank you so much for the support. Thanks for watching, and keep growing with SilverTrain.